Hi everyone and welcome to Shenmue Talk. This is the first episode of a brand new series that I'm making here on the Shenmue unofficial channel. In each episode of this series I will talk about a subject regarding the world of Shenmue. I will be showing you footage from the games and research that I've done over the past few years. The objective of this series is to show you things that I think are interesting for those who have played both games in the series and know the story. So if you haven't played both games, I advise you not to watch this show because it will contain spoilers. Also, for those who will be watching this series, feel free to leave a comment and show your own opinion about the show or even the subject that I will be talking about. So for this first episode, I decided to talk about one of the greatest mysteries in the Shenmue series, and as you can see by the image on the screen, I will be talking about the Shenmue Tree. So as I said before, I'm going to show you things that I think are interesting for those who have played both games, but keep in mind that this is all theoretical and has not been comproved yet. I hope you guys enjoy it, so let's get started. First I'm going to show you some cutscenes of Shenmue 2. The first cutscene I'm going to show you is when Ryo arrives with Shenhua at her house and we see the Shenmue Tree for the very first time.
Here.
What's this tree?
Shenmue.
Huh?
A tree called Shenmue.
Shenmue?
Every year, at this time of the season, its flowers bloom.
Really?
This tree holds a special meaning for me.
The Shenmue Tree has its flowers in bloom again this year.
Shenfa, a beautiful flower.
I know. We will name our child Shenfa.
Shenfa, that is wonderful. The Shenmue Tree shall protect her. The flower of the Shenmue Tree is called Shenfa.
That's...
Yes, that's my name.
There was a tree at home that bloomed during the springtime.
At your house?
They were called cherry blossoms. Their petals were pale pink.
Cherry blossoms. Does that tree hold a special meaning for you too?
Yes.
Let's go. It's this way.
What's the matter, Shenfa?
When I was a child, I used to play on that swing. Every year when the Shenmue's flowers bloomed.
Is this house located in Bailu village?
Yes. We're at the edge of the village.
Okay, when I saw this cutscene for the very first time and realized that Shenmue was the name of a tree, I was really surprised and intrigued. But what also intrigued me in this cutscene were Shenmue's thoughts, especially the first one, where she's just a baby and the people that are with her, that look like they are her parents, are wearing clothes that seem to be from the time of Imperial China. And also the place, the architecture seems to be very ancient, and the fact that she's just a baby and she couldn't have had that memory from her childhood. But at the same time, in her second thought, when she's playing in the swing, she's wearing clothes that are very similar to what her parents were wearing. But what I want you to focus from this cutscene is what her mother says, that the tree shall protect her, and that it has a very special meaning for Shenmue. Okay, now I'm going to show you another cutscene. It's the cutscene where Ryo and Shenmue have a brief talk about the Shenmue Tree and also about their families, but let's just focus on their conversation about the Shenmue Tree.
That tree.
The Shenmue Tree.
Yeah, it's a really big tree.
Yes, it's a very old tree too. The tree was already that tall when my grandfather was a child.
I see.
The tree has been alive for thousands of years.
Thousands of years. Shenmue.
What's the matter, Yo?
Maybe it's only my imagination,
Yes?
but I think I feel something.
You feel something?
The tree isn't just old and big. I don't know how to say this. It seems like it has a spirit.
Really? Do you feel that way too?
Well, yeah.
I felt the same way ever since I was small.
You too?
When I was a child, I used to play under the tree, and I felt like I was being held by the Shenmue Tree. Although I was alone, I didn't feel lonely at all.
I think I understand.
Yes,
It feels like, even as we sit here, that tree is watching and protecting us. It seems like I've known that tree from a long time ago. It's a strange feeling.
So in this brief conversation that Ryo and Shenhua have about the Shenmue Tree, we learn that not also the tree is very old, but that both characters share the same feelings towards the tree. They feel that the tree has a presence, that it has a spirit, and it protects them. And so what I'm about to show you next is a small documentary that shows us a tradition that exists in a region called Yangshuo that is very close to Guilin, the region where Ryo and Shenhua are. And I'm only going to show you the things that I think are important, but I think you should watch the full documentary on YouTube. I will put a link on the description, and I think this was part of the inspiration for Yu Suzuki in the making of the Shenmue Tree. Okay, now I'm going to play the small documentary.
Yangshuo's rainy season falls in June. Under the rain, we meet a band of dragon dancers marching and beating drums and gongs. They seem to be holding a ceremony. For the locals, it is in fact Ancestors' Day. On Ancestors' Day, the local people offer sacrifices to their forefathers. Families of different surnames commemorate on different dates, but they all prepare delicate food as sacrifices. Family members, relatives and friends all get together, creating a scene no less bustling than during Spring Festival. Zhang Jingshan and his family from Chuanyan village have also been busy for this occasion. Roosters and glutinous rice cakes are considered the most important offerings. After a few toasts and burning joss sticks, Zhang Jingshan sets off firecrackers to mark the end of the ceremony, and he asks his ancestors for blessings and protection over his family. But unlike others, the Zhang family didn't dine right after the ritual. Instead, they put the offerings into a basket and went out, led by Zhang Jingshan's mother. The Zhang family have come to the banyan tree, bringing their offerings. Imposing and colossal, this tree has a trunk so thick that it takes 5 or 6 people to wrap their arms around it. Vines crawl over twisted roots and gnarled branches that fan out to create a massive single canopy of shade. And this dense labyrinth of roots is a testament of time. A sprinkling of red fruits add vigor to this towering tree. But why exactly have the Zhangs devoted a ceremony around it?
竟然会保佑你腰痛也会好，保佑你学识进步，天天向上，除恶在明郎。
It turns out that this banyan tree is the spiritual mother called Ji Nyang for her grandsons. Having a spiritual mother is a unique custom in Yangshuo. When a child is born, a spiritual parent must be named, a spiritual parent who will bless the child's growth and education. But this spiritual parent doesn't need to be a person. According to local customs, it can be a tree, rock, or anything that is believed to help complete the child's life. Their beliefs are based on the ancient Chinese principle of yin and yang, that all things in the world are created from 5 elements: gold, wood, water, fire, and earth. The lack of any element will cause imbalance in a person's life. It could mean ill health, bad luck, or a defect in character. And from this, the local custom arose. Children believed to be lacking in the wood element will often be designated a tree as their spiritual parent. The local people believe that this will protect the child from evils, opening the path to good fortune and health. Time has gradually eroded such a worship of nature, but some parents and grandparents are continuing the tradition, hoping to give their children the best.
As you have seen from part of this small documentary, I think that both the Shenmue Tree and this tradition have things in common. So, starting by the trees, we can see that they are both very big and very old. In this tradition, the parents give their children a spiritual parent. I think this is similar to the memory that Shenhua has, where the characters that I think represent her parents give her the name of the Shenmue flower. They call her Shenhua, and her mother also says that the tree shall protect her. That's another thing that happens in this tradition. So the spiritual parent, in this case the tree, blesses the child's growth and education and also protects it from evil. So that's another feeling that Ryo and Shenhua have towards the tree, that the Shenmue tree protects them and that it also has a spiritual presence. So I think this tradition and the Shenmue tree have things in common, and I think this may have been part of the inspiration of Yu Suzuki in making the Shenmue tree a part of the story of Shenmue. Next, what I'm going to show you is another tree that is part of the Chinese culture. We are going to enter more into the realm of Chinese mythology, because Shenmue is not just inspired by Chinese culture but also by Chinese mythology. The most recognizable example in Shenmue are the dragon and the phoenix mirrors. The dragon and the phoenix are two of the most important mythological creatures in Chinese culture, and the tree that I'm going to show you is not just a part of Chinese culture and mythology, but it is part of the mythology of almost every culture in the world. And the tree that I'm talking about is the Tree of Life. As you can see, there are various cultures and religions associated with the Tree of Life, but let's see what it represents to Chinese culture. In Chinese mythology, a carving of a tree of life depicts a phoenix and a dragon. The dragon often represents immortality. A Taoist story tells us of a tree that produces a peach every 3,000 years. The one who eats the fruit receives immortality. What I really found interesting about the Tree of Life was the fact that it depicted a phoenix and a dragon, and in the story of Shenmue we have also a phoenix and a dragon in the shape of two mirrors, but we also have the Shenmue Tree. So I think there could be a connection between the Shenmue Tree and the Tree of Life, because they have these three aspects in common: the tree, the phoenix, and the dragon. As for the story that tells that the tree produces a peach every 3000 years and gives immortality to the one who eats it, I don't know if this will be a part of the Shenmue story, but I remember when Yu Suzuki started researching in the development of Shenmue, he made an RPG prototype called The Old Man and the Peach Tree. So that's why I'm showing you this. This may be just a coincidence, or this may be another connection between the Shenmue Tree and the Tree of Life. Another thing that I want to show you are the similarities between the Peach Tree and the Shenmue Tree. Let me just put these two pictures side by side for you to compare the images. As you can see, both of them are very similar, not also in their shape, but they also seem to have the same sort of flower, and they have the same pink color. So as you can see, this also seems to be another connection between both trees. Now, what I'm going to show you next are two objects you may not remember from Shenmue 1 that Ryo finds in the basement of the Azuki Dojo. They may have not seemed to be important, but I think they can back up my theory that the Shenmue tree may have been inspired in the Tree of Life.
I wonder where this leads. They look pretty old. Did Father collect these? Or have these been here longer than that? Elixir of Eternal Youth. I remember my father telling me about it being used by martial arts experts in China. Where did Father get this?
So this is one of the two objects that Ryo finds in the basement of the Azuki Dojo, and it is an elixir of eternal youth. And Ryo's father Iwao told him that it was used by martial arts experts in China. And my theory behind this object is that the elixir was made out of a fruit of the Shenmue tree, like the peaches of the Tree of Life. That's why it's called the elixir of eternal youth. So, as you may know, Iwao was in China studying and practicing martial arts in Bailu village, and that is where the Shenmue tree is located. So he could have brought it from China to Japan and kept it in the basement of the Azuki Dojo, and that's why I think that this object may back up my theory on the Shenmue tree.
The stab armor? It looks like the name of a move. What strange paper? It doesn't look Japanese at all. Where did Father get this? It's Father when he was young. But who's that with him? Something's inside? It says good luck. Some kind of amulet? What an unusual shape. It's probably not from Japan. It's a paperweight. Zodiac signs? These are also Chinese. What's this leaf doing here? That's strange. It's not even dry.
This white leaf is the second object that I want to talk about, and as you have heard, Rio says that it is strange that the leaf is not even dry. So the theory behind this white leaf is that it is a leaf from the Shenmue Tree, and if the Shenmue Tree is like the tree of life that produces the peaches of immortality, it is also natural that a leaf from that tree should last for a very long time. And just like the elixir that Iwao has brought from China, he may have brought the white leaf from China as well to Japan and kept it also in the basement of the Azuki Dojo. And that's why I think this object also backs up my theory about the Shenmue Tree. And that is all I have to show you for now, for this first episode of Shenmue Talk. I hope my theory about the Shenmue Tree being associated with Chinese cultural traditions and mythology is correct. I think there is definitely a connection between them. I don't know what role the Shenmue Tree will have in the Shenmue series, whether it will be a spiritual guide for Ryo and Shenhua, or if it will be the treasure of a long life or even immortality, like the Tree of Life. The Shenmue Tree will remain a mystery for now. Let's see if we can find more about this mystery with the release of Shenmue 3. I had more Shenmue subjects associated with the Shenmue Tree that I could have talked about, but I wanted to keep this first episode simple and didn't want to mix all the subjects in one very long episode, so stay tuned for future episodes of Shenmue Talk. I hope you have enjoyed the show. Feel free to leave a comment, and as always, until next time.